11. Friends don't play.
Stop it! You're freaking her out!
She's freaking me out! The upside down.
Do you understand what he's talking about?
No. I found the chocolate pudding!
Oh God, please tell me it's not the kid.
I need you to hide!
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Holy shit.
Welcome back. My name is Chris.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, a Stranger Things podcast. Ooh. One of the very last times until the next season where it'll be a Stranger Things podcast.
We are getting at least one more, right?
I believe it is greenlit season 4. It has to. I mean, there's so many things to tie up.
Yeah, that'd be a weird way to end the
Fucking
series.
Ballsy, though.
That'd be a strange way to end the things, dude.
3.
2 year. We always do that.
3 year.
We have so many number puns left in this show. Keep tuning in. If you're new to the show, you're probably going to be lost and not like it very much because we're very idiosyncratic. That's what I like to say.
Yeah, very idiot.
Numbers have dropped, but we get it. We dropped the ball on Stranger Things season 3. We're ball droppers. I shouldn't have said that. Thank you to all of our diehard fans.
We're basically all the boys this season, huh?
Yeah, edit point. No, I'm just kidding.
For real?
Let it ride. Let it ride. So I did want to say a few things. Thank you to all of our diehard fans. And this is the finale of season 3. We are going to do our typical recap episode sometime next week. Probably be dropping around Friday. That's the way we say it in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, Friday.
It's actually not, but it is now.
Friday.
It's going to catch on like hotcakes because pancakes are super popular, and I imagine anyway.
Was that movie with Ice Cube?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, he's a prolific. Oh, yeah.
How did I not see that?
You should have said Chris Tucker. He would have been right on it. Not as many of those. Rush Hour and Friday. That's the 2 options.
Yeah, Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Random.
David or Russell. So, yeah, we're very grateful. What we want to do is a quick little contest, and you have to be Canadian to participate. Sorry about all the other listeners. We want you to...
You have to be from a news channel.
CTV. Sorry about that one. You have to write into streamingthingspod@gmail.com and let us know where you're writing from and what your name is.
You really can be from anywhere. It doesn't have to be in Canada.
No, yeah. This is worldwide. And let us know who your favorite member of Streaming Things is and why. What was the way you put it, Steve?
Who's your chocolate pudding of the show?
Who is your chocolate pudding of the show? We just want some listener feedback.
Is that really the contest? Right. We're asking strangers to ask us which one of the 3 of us they like best. So
gift card.
One of us is going to be like, yeah, they love us, and the other one's going to be like, no one wrote about me.
That's the danger.
Are we going to read the results out loud on the show later? Like,
yes.
Oh, no one liked Chris.
Ever news, Chris quit the podcast.
Yes.
This is such a bad idea.
It's terrible. I love it.
What else should we do?
I love it. I'm down.
Every time I'm like, let us know what show you're really into. It's fucking crickets. So let's just get real, right?
Well, we've never really put a gift card on the line. Maybe if we ask people what their favorite show is and then entice them with a gift card.
What's your favorite porn site?
let us know. Just write us.
You write us an email. You get a card. We don't want to sound too desperate.
The best email. And you can say why you love me if that's what you want to do, or you can say what show you're into.
What if that's the contest where they write us? It's literally what you said, the best email, but they have to take us on a journey. It's got to be a story of like why they listen to us.
Okay.
And what Stranger Things or Streaming Things means to them, and who's the chocolate pudding of the show.
Yeah, that was a joke, but seriously, do it. That's a great idea, Steve. So take us on a jury, not a jury. I don't want to do jury duty.
Y'all got jury duty. You've been summoned.
I don't want to go to court. I just get a subpoena, and they're like, "Give me the gift card." Damn it! You win, judge. Local judge who's a fan, you win. You got me. Take us on a journey. Let us know why you listen to the show, why you love it, and how Stranger Things, touched your life, things like that. And the winner, we will pick one. We'll get a $50 Amazon gift card because that is the the best way I found to quickly send someone $50.
It's a good method.
It's a super good method.
Yeah.
So don't forget to let us know where you're writing from and what your name is. That'll be fun.
Fitty Bones. Could be yours.
Fitty. It's about that time.
I realized that podcast was 350 feet tall. From the Paleolithic era.
No goddamn Loch Ness monster.
Yeah. Also, please like and subscribe to the podcast. I don't know why that's funny. And rate us on iTunes or Google Play, wherever you're finding us. Steve, I was looking up earlier. I don't think we're on Spotify. Do you know how to rectify that? Because I thought that Spotify, I know it's relatively new, podcasting to Spotify, that maybe it was just pulling from all popular RSS feeds, but that's apparently not how you get on Spotify, because I couldn't find us. But
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll fix it. We're sorry,
Yeah.
Spotify people, if you're joining us now, that we are on it, because
a year from now they'll be listening to this
when
like,
you're
you
listening.
totally are.
Also, happy 2020.
President Sanders, am I right, boys? Probably not.
Don't say that.
Probably not.
It'll be President fucking
We'll get a lot
Ben
of different.
Carson.
We'll get a lot of different kind of emails. We start down that road. Okay, so this is chapter 8. Holy shit, we're there. I'm stalling because I didn't pull up the show description. Wow, what an episode! Am I right, boys?
really phoning in this last episode.
Oh my god! I'm usually prepared.
Remember that time you went downstairs 3 or 4 times to get your headphones and kept coming upstairs without
We're
headphones?
old.
Fuck, I just went down and peed. He comes back up. But fuck, I took out the garbage.
Check this out, though. The next time we record, after the next time, so after the recap of season 3, we'll both have new homes. We'll be very well established. We might even have a studio. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And I'm excited because that's going to be much more structured and soundproofed and safe. But it's chapter 8, The Battle of Starcourt. And Netflix describes it thusly. Terror reigns in the food court when the mind flayer comes to collect. But down below, in the dark, the future of the world is at stake.
Stakes are high.
Oh shit.
Future of the world, that's a lot of stakes.
Damn, and I
Mind
love
Flayer
steak.
tax collector, dude. What the fuck?
Steve, you're scaring me. Your notes look sparse.
Well, because they're on my phone.
All right. You got plenty of battery?
I do, actually. I found a way to sync an app to my phone where I can have my computer keyboard and type on my computer keyboard, and it goes to my phone.
Pushes to your phone?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was just sitting on the couch with a laptop, just like typing stuff blindly, like, oh, that looks cool. No.
That is a brilliant way to do it.
I have a lot of
I'm
spelling
a
errors,
fast
I'm
typer.
sure.
I'm a solid 92 words per minute.
He just brings up the first time. It's completely like fucked up. It's like,
JKS staff.
I should have really proofread this beforehand.
Is this in Russian?
Speaking of Russian,
Ooh.
there's a lot of Russians in Hawkins, guys. And the gang is out to stop what the Russians have done. The gate is open. There are monsters coming for the kids. But we open up in the small town of Hawkins as Joyce, Murray, and Hopper drive frantically to the mall where they know the children are at. And they want to save them from the danger that lies in front of them.
Ahead.
Yeah.
Would have been the obvious.
But they've already been in danger. As before, 11 had gotten some wiggly blood put into her leg, and we cut to 11 on the ground in the mall in pain as Jonathan decides he's gonna.
What the fuck, Jonathan?
Yeah, he goes and grabs a knife. He just warms it up.
It looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, last time we saw Max was the nurse in charge, but she's not doing dick in this episode.
This kind of shit doesn't happen on skateboarding.
Like, I'm not Wiggly Blood certified, guys. I'm out. That's not my
He
skateboard
puts
resume.
it over the open flame, butcher knife, and he's super concentrated. And I'm thinking, all right, Jaybird, show us what you got. And then he just stabs her leg and freaks out and shoves his hand in it.
Yeah, he gets like those plastic gloves that you use to pick up hot dogs, and he just fishes around in her open wound trying to get the wiggly blood. And it's like,
They're
man,
like,
get away from me.
Jonathan, stop! And he's like, shut up! I'm trying to concentrate. And they're seriously, stop!
That was your plan?
You're yanking out. You're yanking out her femur. Yeah.
11 finally is like, bro, you have got to not do that anymore. I can fucking do it. And she literally, pulls this wiggly blood monster out of her leg with her goddamn mind and throws it across the mall. But
it was a very intense cold open. I was actually on the rewatch super impressed because it ramps up immediately with the fast car, and then we get digging around in little girls' legs and stuff. Intense shit. And Millie Bobby Brown did some phenomenal pain acting there, and it's some monumental self-restraint if you think about it. She could have easily pain angered, snapped the shit out of Jonathan's neck, which would have been a cool twist.
Right.
That's how Jonathan goes.
Yeah.
I really like the cinematography of it. There's lots of shaky cam. There's really high contrast saturation in the edit. Real body horror hostile kind of look to it. And there's pus coming out of her leg when they cut it and shit. It's brutal.
It's tough. My girlfriend looked away during that scene, I recall. And she's pretty sensitive when it comes to that kind of shit. She hates horror movies, which is, I'm aghast at that still. I don't know if it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm just kidding. I love her very much. But yeah, she looked away. So I don't know. I just think that's different for Stranger Things, that kind of body horror. Andy's mentioned it before.
Surgery on small children.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she flings the little wiggly goo monster away.
It looked like a baby arm. Did anybody else notice that when it first comes out? It's
actually, I paused it because my wife came out. My wife came in the living room right as that scene was happening, so I paused it right when it was getting ejected out of her leg, and it looked exactly like a xenomorph popping out of someone's stomach in that one frame because it was just the head and the mouth coming out of the body. Spoiler Easter egg. But it goes across the mall. It tries to escape, but nay, it gets smashed by none other than Jim Hopper's foot.
Motherfucking James Hopper.
Hopper, Joyce, and Murray have joined the party.
Sorry for the low-hanging fruit, but he hopped on that shit.
Oh, yes, he did, Andy. Thank you for that. No, not low-hanging at all.
You've been sitting on that all season, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
This leads to another one of our lovely scenes of everybody getting caught up on exposition. Murray brings the plans that Alexi wrote for them into the mall, so everyone can kind of look over the layout of the Russian base. Erica comes in hot on Murray, saying that he's going to die if he goes down in Commie Disneyland, and calls him Mr. Buttman. To which he responds, "Why is this child talking to me?"
And she's like, "I'll talk to whoever I want, motherfucker." And I'm like, "Whoa." Something like that, I remember.
Well, it makes sense that specifically Dustin and Erica are kind of throwing shade at these adults. You don't know what's down there. We do. We can be your guides. We can be your navigators, but Hop's not comfortable with the idea of putting children in danger.
I love that. He's just no. He just sits there and listens to the whole plan. He's like, absolutely fucking not.
And there's no there's no way to come back. Just the look, and it's for some reason there is no objection to that. And you're like, oh shit, it's done. It's super dad vibes.
I thought it was a really good idea, Hop. Damn.
Dad vibes, the likes of which Ted could only dream of having.
Oh my God, Ted.
Language.
He's just hanging out with Fred this
I'm
whole
holding
time.
out for season 4, y'all.
But Ted's gonna be the hero.
Ted the hero.
He's gonna have the sacrificial death, heroic redeeming death of the season.
No one will care.
Oh, yeah.
Karen will be like, "Where's? Oh yeah, his dad."
Yeah, Nancy and Mike. Where's Dad? Oh, actually, wasn't he with you?
Sweetheart, your father's funeral's tonight. Who?
Who's father?
The guy on the chair.
While this is going on, or right after that happens, the boys do some broing out, some much needed broing out. They get in together. They have a big group hug. They apologize for getting under each other's skin. I love this scene only because the whole time Eric is in the background just making the wildest faces at them all, ugh, gross, boys.
Friends.
They come up with a plan. That's going to separate everyone once again. The Scoops Troop are given the keys to the Todd Father because they need to get Dustin to Cerebro so that he and Erica can use the radio communication to guide Hopper, Murray, and Joyce while they're in the base. So Steve and Robin and the gang get into the Todd Father, and Steve's her daddy now. That's what he says about the car.
If you don't know the show, that sentence was just fucking wild. The Scoops Troop gets the keys to the Todd Father so they can go to Cerebro. I'm just sitting back like, fuck, this is dense.
Oh, yeah. These are my notes. Murray talks. Oh, geez. I should really read these before I start, like, diving right
Welcome
into
to
them.
my world, boys. It is tough. Like, shit, what did that shorthand mean?
We get a couple clips where Murray's going over with Nancy and Jaybird the keys to his house, his, like, bunker, because that's the plan for them, is to take 11 up to that bunker so she can be safe.
Never makes it there.
Joyce talks to Will about sticking with Jaybird and being safe. And then we have a nice little scene with 11 and Hopper, where 11 is adamant that she can fight, she can be helpful, but Hopper needs her to be safe. He gives her a big old hop hug and tells Mike to be careful and to take care of 11.
And one thing that I want to note is, well, two things. Erica called Murray a bald bastard.
Oh, yes.
That's what I meant to say, which is awesome. And then when Hop refuses to let them go, Erica, in a huff, says, well, he's going to die. They're going to die. Which, cool little foreshadowing, sort of.
They're going to die.
Yeah.
Nancy, Jonathan, and the kids get into the station wagon, but it won't start. For whatever reason, the car won't start, even though it's brand new, supposedly. Jonathan looks at he opens the top and sees that the ignition cable is missing, and that is when we realize that Billy is on the other side of the parking lot in the dark.
He took the cord out and ran all the way back to his car to wait. We're going to be so surprised when it doesn't start.
He's just sitting there the whole time like, man, I really hope they're actually in there.
Should I turn the radio on? No, I want to be standing right hear it. The headlights will come on too. Shit, just be patient.
Just be cool.
That's when I realized that Jonathan knows how to work on cars, which took me for a loop. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was like, he's like, oh, the ignition cable's missing. I'm like, I totally know what that is.
I would have noticed that immediately. That cable.
Yeah. That would have been like, yeah, the oil needs changed. There was a really odd jump scare in the scene. Did you guys notice it, where it cuts to Billy? It reveals Billy's on, revving his engine, being menacing, and there's a shot of Lucas and I think Max in the back seat, and they're kind of looking at Billy. But then there's like Nancy just slams into the side, and they're like, yeah. It's just like, what
calm down, let's go.
Joyce, Murray, and Hopper make their way through the Russian base. They're in the elevator. There's a little bit of some talk about the plan not being great, but Murray says no, it's a solid B plan given the time and circumstances that they're under. The elevator opens up, but there's Russians there. They're just waiting for them.
They're never going to know we're here.
That was dope. He says, if everything goes according to plan, they'll never know we were here. And it opens up, and they're like, oh my God.
Murray tries to talk them down, but Hopper just goes ham on all of them. He grabs a gun and just shoots them all. Yeah. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
What'd you think about Hopper just manning up? And
I think there's some moral issues with it that a lot of fans might have. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. I thought it was awesome. It was a cool little twist, and they're, it's a little, what's the word, nationalistic or ethnocentric. They're fucking Russians. Who cares? But I mean, that's a product of those times in the movies. But I thought it was awesome subversion of expectations, and we hadn't seen Hopper kick a whole lot of ass this season, right? He got his ass kicked a couple times, and he's been trying to play dad. So
he's on a roll these last 2 episodes.
Yes, he's back.
He's back,
and
baby.
He's a little bit of a murderer, and it's fine.
Hey, when you kill one,
I'm more bothered by the lack of damage the spray of bullets does to those uniforms that they later wear than anything else morally, because he's got like tiny red spots in it instead of like giant red splotches and huge holes.
And then there's that scene where they talk to a guard, and even though Hopper has like 3 holes in the front of his uniform, that guard doesn't like, hey, what's that about?
Say goodbye to the sunlight. By the way, you're bleeding a little bit, so maybe stop by infirmary.
You're here. You're brand new and all red. That you got 3 bullets. Boy, you a real Russian. Cut to there's all these vests. They all have Russian bulletproof vests. Yeah, this part of the episode is just bouncing all over the place, so I apologize for jumping everywhere. But we cut to the Scoop Troop traveling to Cerebro. There's a brief discussion of whether Susie exists or not, and Dustin is very upset that Steve hesitates in defending him that Susie is real while they're in the Toddfather. They make a hard left to go up the hill, and the Toddfather gives out, and then they have to take the rest of the journey on foot.
I have the best notes here. I just wanted to show off. It says, the Todd father has limitations. So does 11. Because then it cuts from this scene to her not being able to use her powers anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And she can't lift the car off the counter that they need to get the other cable out. So, and that's something that Robin says. Even the Todd father has limitations because it wouldn't go up the hill. Anyway, I thought it was clever going.
Well, yeah, like you said, we cut back to the mall. The Griswold family, as this group is called, 11, Mike, Lucas, Will.
So we have
Nancy,
the three groups,
Jaybird.
CB codes, Scoops Troop,
Troop,
Griswold
Griswold family.
and Bald Eagle.
Yes. Although technically I think Bald Eagle is just Murray, but for the sake of this, we can call that group
The
Bald
whole
Eagle.
group, yeah.
We cut back to the Griswold family. Mike is trying to contact the Scoops Troop for rescue because they have the working car, while everyone else tries to attempt to flip the model car over that 11 originally threw at the Russians so that they can get that ignition cable out of that car and replace the station wagon one. So hopefully they can get away that way if need be. But as they're doing this, 11 thinks she can flip the car, but she can't. Her powers are seemingly gone.
At this point, she has a little bit of power, like the metal creaks, But then in the very next scene, I just thought it was interesting, the complete decline of her ability. It went from kind of just needs to recharge to she can't even crush the Coke can anymore.
Right.
Which is a good, all the way back to season 1 illusion. But, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but I don't want to forget. What do you all think about the reason or the cause of her lack of power? Because obviously it's some kind of amorphous, the thing that was inside her sapped her energy in some way, but she was able to use her powers to remove it. And maybe that'll be the subject of season 4 a little bit, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Or did you not think much about it at all?
I mean, new Coke, new can, right? That thing's just fucking indestructible.
She never had powers. It was the lack of integrity of the original Coke can.
I mean, it makes sense to me that she was able to use her powers to take that thing out because it was still in her at that point. You know what I mean? So it hadn't totally sapped her. And when she is trying to pull the truck down, she still has some power because, like, in like I always watch the show with the captions on. It says like metal creaking and stuff. Like it's,
that's what I said. You
trying
can
to
hear
move.
it creak.
And well, I'm deaf, so. So
Have you been reading Stranger Things this whole time?
So for it to progress to not even be able to crush the can, that's a little weird. She should at least be able to pop the tap, but I don't know. I like the idea of disarming her right before the most climactic moment. The pace of it is a little odd, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like it works.
It is very interesting that we don't have our MVP is completely castrated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and it's also going to be awesome where, in spoilers for my predictions, episode 4 of season 4, she regains her powers, right? That's going to be a great moment. Mm-hmm. After she gets her ass kicked by normal humans a couple times, of course, I'm sure it's going to happen. The new high school bully.
All those orderlies that she broke the necks of in season 1 have their family get their come up and
But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to see what you guys thought because there's not much fanfare about it. All the other cast members are just like, "Oh, you'll be fine."
Right. But it's not the first time we've seen her drained.
Yeah, but it's the first time we've seen her completely unable to move a teddy bear.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
either unconscious or super powerful up to this point. But she's completely healthy and normal, but unable to even move that teddy bear. Anyway, I don't want to take too long. I just thought it was a huge thing that both fans and cast and fellow characters don't remark on very much.
It is weird. I think it's one of those things where me personally, I'm willing to wait to see what they do with it in season 4 before I render a judgment on like how I completely feel about it. But I think it is odd that her removing it removes her powers where she still has it while it's in her.
Right.
That is an odd thing.
The lack of fanfare is interesting. Like, although I'm not sure if I probably would have liked it less if it was like zoom in, warp face, slow mo when she comes to realization. Oh my God, there's nothing I can do.
Dolly zoom.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like pacing wise, it would have been goofy to make too much of it because we know what that means. You know what I mean? They don't have to remind you what a big deal it is.
I also love that she dug through the trash, and I'm ruining Steve's play-by-play, but
No, you're making it better.
to find the Coke can rather than just looking at almost anything near her to try the same thing.
Everyone's trying to like move the car with those metal stanchions, and Mike's like, "What the fuck is she doing over there in the trash?"
It would have been hilarious if she started chugging it.
My first thought was like she was looking for food to
Me
eat.
too.
Like, I need energy.
Yeah, for sure. There you go.
He's fucking digging around the dumpster. Where's that throwback to season 1? Damn it.
Got to be an Andy Ann's pretzel or something in here.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine 11 on an Annie Ann's pretzel?
Oh, my superpowers.
We cut to the scene we mentioned earlier with the guard, but Murray, who Murray thinks is a nice guard. He's a nice guard. Murray gets into the vent. Cut back to the kids trying to lift the car. They can't do it initially, but they get those metal stanchions.
They overturn the car with science.
Physics, as Mike says.
Which I think is like the only reference to him being like, hey, yeah, he was actually supposed to be like a really smart, nerdy kid.
Yeah, Mike is also a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been just a miserable cunt the last 2 seasons.
Right.
But he knows, 101 physics. I know what a fulcrum is. I am also smart.
I know that if you apply leverage, you can lift something easier.
Much like a crowbar, Mike, sit the fuck down.
Yeah. Jaybird knows about crowbars. Come on, let's be honest. They flip the car over, but their celebration is short-lived because we get a will tingle. The Mind Flayer has arrived.
Stands on the glass roof that doesn't break for a weirdly long time.
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah. There's 80s glass. That was thick.
We were in a Cold War.
THICC.
We're in a Cold War. We had to prove to those Russians we had the best glass.
It's true.
T2 or T1 or whatever we're calling him, the Russian guy, arrives with some backup. He sees the carnage that Hopper did to the guards beforehand, and he alerts the rest of the...
He's nonplussed.
He's like, Americans. Hopper and Joyce begin to argue while they wait for Murray, but then... Hopper tries to initiate an argument, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Joyce is kind of like, I agree. To which Hopper's kind of like, despite all of our arguing, make a pretty good team, Detective Byers. Actually, I think she's the one that implies that she should be a detective.
Right. And then we get this horror movie trope where they make the mistake of planning a wonderful sounding short-term future right before the climactic battle. And we all know in any movie, when you do that, that's never going to happen, unfortunately.
The one thing I did, because, they make a plan to go to Enzo's, and they're kind of working out the deets on how their date's going to go down. The one thing I noticed about this that I really loved, it was a small little touch, but she's like, hey, you want to go to Enzo's at 8 or something like that? And Hopper goes, 11 likes to watch Miami Vice at 10, so I can't be out that late. He's putting his daughter before his date. I thought that was really, really sweet.
There's a ton of tiny little things they do so well. I was noticing in this episode, specifically the sequence right after that, with the Mind Flayer prowling around, I should say, the mall looking for all the kids. He takes a stomping step and sucks the little wiggly blood back into his leg that was inside 11. The entire audience had forgotten about that little piece that Hop stepped on. They didn't have to do that, but they shot and CG'd the thing to reconnect itself to that tiny piece. And then the mannequin that wears the same clothing as 11. There's another tiny detail that Andy, I thought, would appreciate. They just do little visually explanatory things that are just really subtle and awesome. I very much appreciate, except one of it was too much. Like when the hand, like the tentacles would like creep or to the corner, and then like snap like a dog around it. I
always thought it was weird that the tentacles would be like slowly moving like that. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, why wouldn't it just quickly seek through the room? Yeah. But I appreciate the tension.
Right. That's a good scene. We cut to Murray in very huge vents. Did you guys realize like how big Russia makes their goddamn vents? A full-grown man could just squat in them.
The very same
room.
vents that were too small for anyone.
Yeah,
but Erica to get in initially.
That's a really good point.
Or maybe it's just that one entrance.
Well, that was the vents of the mall. Maybe the Russian base vents are much larger for some reason.
It's Cold War. They have such strong glass. We have to do something. How about make very large vent?
We have to make small vent in the where Americans are because they're stupid with your tiny vents.
Exactly.
I just love the idea of just the pettiness of how they built the mall.
That actually works out great. They will know this big, powerful vent and want to explore.
You could fit like 10 people at once in one space.
What could go on American vent? A little black girl.
That'll never happen. It's America. But yeah, Murray's in the giant vents, and Eric and Dustin are trying to, relay to him where he needs to go. But it is at that moment that they notice that something's going on the mall. I think they realize that the Mind Flayer is on top of the mall, so Dustin desperately tries to warn the Griswold family, but the Mind Flayer's already there. He's a little too late. It's a little too late on the gun there, Dustin. The Mind Flayer is stalking the gang.
Yeah, what was the point of that? Neither parties, the Bald Eagle nor Hop and Joyce. God damn it, they didn't get a sign. How do I talk to them? Neither of them can leave their
Antique
mission.
Chariot and wheelbarrow, bro.
So what is the point of notifying them of trouble? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
Just to worry them.
it is strange that Dustin knows that the Griswold family is in the mall still, because they're supposed to be gone
Right.
at that point, according to their original plan.
Well, he doesn't. He just knows that they're not responding, right?
Right.
But he hears a little
then
bit
they-
of Mind Flayer action.
Well, they can see the mall from the hill, and they can see there's
Right.
something crazy going on at the mall.
I mean, if they're seeing the Thessal Hydra up on top,
it stands
of,
to reason they would go assume they're
it's
still
like-
there.
Yeah.
That's true, because it is after 11. But yeah, he tries to warn them. It's too late. The Mind Flayer's already there. Everyone's hiding under cars or food carts. Max and before that, Steve and Robin actually made the decision to ditch Dustin and Erica and go back to the mall and try to pick them up and ferry them up to safety. But Max and 11 try to make a break. Max, 11, and Mike try to make a break for it through the gap, which I thought was funny. Like,
Yeah.
where can we go? Through the gap. And it's like a literal gap.
That's a good one.
They don't quite make it. They have to hide in the gap
It
from
was
the
a baby gap.
Was it a baby gap?
No.
They couldn't fit through.
Were there baby gaps in the 80s?
I don't think so.
Murray flips some breakers, which messes up the gate gun. What are we calling
That's
that?
a good one, the gate gun.
The gate gun. It starts messing up. Things are flicking around. But Lucas realizes that Mike, 11, and Max are in trouble. He pulls out his slingshot, pops a balloon to distract the monster so that Mike, 11, and Max can make a break for it, which I thought was smart of Lucas because they kind of tease that he's going to hit the actual monster. But at the last thing,
Which
like,
also would have worked.
balloon.
But it's funny that the Mind Flayer is like this stupid ass dog, essentially.
Noise. Joyce and Hopper finally, because Murray has messed up the gun, they're able to get into they're trying to get into that vault to get the briefcase so that they can get the keys to turn off the gate gun completely. They enter the code, the Planck's constant code that Murray supplied them, but it's wrong.
Planck's occasional.
Sorry. Planck's occasional.
Planck's constant. Planck's occasional. Get it? Nobody gets it.
God damn it, Andy.
No. Explain me. Explain to me.
You just lost a couple emails for Andy.
Are we going to start campaigning for everyone to pick us as their chocolate pudding? A vote for Steve is a vote for
I always have
Steve.
been. This has been leading up to this the entire time we've had this show. Also, I want to throw in there real quick. I remembered what I wanted to show Andy. One of the other great touches of the Prowler scene was the monster picks up one of the dead Russians and just like flings it off to the side. And like, they didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's just this tiny detail. It's horrifying. It shows you what would happen if you got a hold of one of the characters. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just very economical, very cool. I would have never thought of that. Like, hey, who has the set photos? Oh yeah, there's a body here. Let's have it chuck it. You know, it's cool shit.
And I guess that's another way to reiterate that Just a normal dead body is useless to the meat monster because that body didn't consume chemicals to be sucked up in joints. So he's like, I can't use this.
Or it doesn't use Russians for whatever kind of weird racist reasons, right? Russians.
No, thank you.
And the CG is phenomenal. I was actually looking. I mean, there's nothing. It's got good slobber. I mean, a nice moisture to the skin of both the Demogorgon and the Mind Flayer. I don't know. I was just staring at it like that. I know they spend a lot of money on the show, but it could easily look like shit what they're trying to do, and it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks great.
Anyway, glad you guys agree.
The budget on this show is pretty high to begin with, and it seems to be getting higher and higher as it proves to be one of the big Netflix flagship shows.
Oh yeah.
It's probably Netflix's main show at this point. I mean, they cancel everything everybody else likes.
Yeah, for sure.
They lost all their Marvel stuff. I mean, the amazing thing 4 years ago, when I first was like, holy shit, Netflix is doing some big things, was Orange is the New Black, Peaky Blinders, which really wasn't theirs. They just bought that from BBC, right?
I think so.
And then the original, like Daredevil, stuff like that. I was like, holy shit, some good stuff going on here. I don't know.
Yeah, and Orange is the New Black just ended.
That was their final season, and they've Peaky Blinders' new season's coming out in November, I think, of this year. By the way, huge fan. But this isn't the Peaky Blinders.
That's
show.
true.
It fucking should be.
The rest of the gang is also able to escape thanks to Lucas's balloon popping technique, but Billy's still waiting for them outside. Jonathan quickly tries to change the ignition cable in the station wagon, but Billy uses his car to. It looks like he's going to run down the entire team in the station wagon.
Nancy was going to fetal position that car hit. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
She was just like, fuck it. Stop, drop, and roll. It's going to be fine. Thank God.
Well, she jumps in front to start emptying her pistol clips, hopefully hitting Billy. She doesn't come close.
No, terrible shot.
Which sucks because
she was Deadeye in season 2.
Yeah, no shit.
Now she can't hit up someone coming straight at her in a car. Come on, Nancy. You're really pulling a Jaybird on this.
It's the new hair.
Maybe it's the fact that she has to shoot a person. Has she shot a person?
No. And that is tougher, I hear, than shooting a Demogorgon.
I've heard people are the most dangerous game.
I wish that guy from the party would have popped out of nowhere and just been like, pure fuel. And didn't do anything. Just, are you drinking in the mall parking lot?
Dude, what are you doing here? The fair's that way. It looks like Billy's going to, slam fetal position. That sounds terrible. It looks like rewind. It looks like Billy's going to slam into the car and crush everyone, including Nancy. But just at the last second, Steve with the Toddfather just T-bones Billy's car.
After hours. Looks like Billy's going to slam Nancy in the fetal position.
God damn it.
Go on.
I shouldn't have listened to Andy's recap from last episode. I feel that sexual charge again. Speaking of sexual, well, I shouldn't say that. They are able to get into the station wagon and make their escape, and the Mind Flayer chases them. But it doesn't realize that Mike 11 and Max are not in the station wagon. Oh, they're still in the mall.
And I forgot that too, rewatching it an hour ago.
But like I said, speaking of sexual energy, we cut to Salt Lake City, Utah. The city of sexual energy.
Also the home of Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah.
Go Susie, I assume the founder.
Yeah.
And go on.
We all know
Mormonism.
Sundance Film Festival is just a giant fuck fest. Did you see this movie? I did. But yeah, we see that Susie is real.
Holy shit.
And she's real as
And super nerdy.
Yes, she is. She's reading a book, a very nerdy book. I have the title of it written down later, but she hops on the radio when she hears Dustin trying to contact her, which I love. The first thing you hear Dustin say is, "Susie, do you copy?" Which is the title from before.
Yeah.
She answers, "Oh, Dusty Buns." And you just get this
Susie
really
Poo.
cute back and forth where she's so excited to hear from him. But the first thing he asks of her is what Planck's constant is, because she's apparently a math whiz and would know what Planck's constant is. And the number they need to get into the safe.
That she knows also. He broke the code with her, right? She knows everything about the Upside Down and their previous adventures. because he says, I'm saving the world from Russians. And she's like, of course you are.
I don't know if he would have told her the specifics. I think he just kind of bragged like, yeah, I saved the world. I have a friend with superpowers, but he might not have gotten into the
No big
nitty-gritty.
deal. Just another day in the life of Dusty Buns.
She tells him that she will only give him Planck's constant, a number that he should know. I love that little stank that she puts on that
A
line.
little stank on it.
She will give him Planck's constant, but first, she wants to hear it.
This is like a thing.
Steve.
She wants.
And the
to
look
hear
on
it.
Dustin's face, like the panic, I will never live this down, but I also really want to do this. I miss you, right?
Yeah.
We all thought she just wanted to hear him say "I love you," right?
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Okay.
And
Yeah.
turn around, look at what you see. We cannot sing as good as those guys. Wow.
I thought we should all three try it.
All right. Here
We
we
could
go.
end the show with it.
Yeah,
Let's just
okay.
do it at the end, and
Okay.
we'll edit it in. Maybe I'm not going to do
We'll
it.
look up the lyrics. I'm sure some of the lyrics are wrong. But yeah, he starts singing the song from Neverending Story with her in a duet. Which I want to be honest with you guys. So this scene in particular, at least amongst some friends that I know, is kind of controversial. Personally, I fucking love this because I was a big Neverending Story person when I was growing up. I love that movie, and I feel like that's not a movie when people are referencing 80s culture. I feel like Neverending Story doesn't get brought up that much, which is weird.
I think it does. The Atreyu meme is probably top 10 of all time, like reused. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
It might, I mean, I don't know, but
But just hearing them start singing that song, like the first when, like,
What's the
first
Atreyu
little-
meme?
It's the horse.
when the horse is being sucked into the swamp, I mean, they just meme it all the time.
Oh.
My childhood.
Yeah.
And it's like supposed to mean like something horribly depressing happening.
Right.
Because that's a horribly depressing scene.
Yeah, it's like insane. And you're 6, maybe. Like, what?
Yeah. And that almost killed that child actor doing that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a horse and it's in a swamp, like the swamp of sadness or something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's
Aptly
literally like,
titled.
yeah, and
Have
like
you seen Neverending Story, Andy?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
I've seen it recently, I think. Is that
Yeah.
weird? I just want to say, I don't know where you're going with this, or if you don't think many people like this.
Well, I was going to say that I loved it because it was such a big callback for me, and I was like grinning ear to ear during the whole song. But I know a lot of people who are like, I didn't need that song. Shit.
That's weird because I think I can say with little to zero hyperbole that is this my single favorite moment of Stranger Things ever.
Oh wow, really?
I think so.
I think it's great
It
because
brought me an extreme amount of joy.
there's that part when Susie hits the high note and she like when she goes never ending story and she like throws her hand up in
and
the
it just
air.
kicks up a notch. And not only that, but cutting to Murray and Hopper, and you see the
Everyone
Fessel
listening.
Hydra charging behind the fucking station wagon with Steve's face. Like, are you shitting me right now?
Yeah.
And like the show's mocking itself. Like, I can't believe we're doing this.
I fucking love that scene.
It's
too.
amazing.
Yeah, it's so well done.
My girlfriend and I were just dying laughing together. Yeah, it was a wonderful moment. And have
I think
you ever
it's a
seen?
great cut into the tension and
Yeah.
horror that's happening. It's like a great way to alleviate that stress for just a moment.
And it's not easy to do that and not have it be atonal. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's props to them for that. But have you ever seen The Magicians? Do any of you watch that show?
I've seen like an episode or two.
So this might be weird for me, but I'm a huge fan of The Magicians.
Really?
It's like a thing.
You don't strike me as a person who would get into that.
I know. Well, that show is weirdly progressive. Like you wouldn't think it, but as far as like human rights and open, I don't know, sex positivity, I guess I want to say. I mean, those are the undertones of that show. And then
Magic.
It's like it's Harry Potter, but with sex and stuff. So it's awesome, right?
Oh, they had sex in Hogwarts.
It's based off of my fan fiction, bro.
Right. So, but anyway, there's this thing that happens once every season where they have this giant atonal musical episode, and now it's like a thing since the first time that it occurred in like season 3 or whatever. And it brings me an incredible amount of joy that they work it into the plot, and all these characters in this dire situation just break out into song for like 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And it's super happy. Anyway, that's what it reminded me of. So I was on board. Like, fuck yeah.
Oh, so good. Well, And it's great to see everyone, like you said, react. Finally, the song ends. She gives Planck's consent to Dustin, and then they start going, I love you, Dusty Buns. I love you, Susie Poo. And Erica just hard stop. No. Turns off the radio and kills the connection because she has had enough of this love
she
shit.
says, enough.
You know what would have been good is if they cut to her and she's just sort of like humming along or like mouthing the words, like lean into her being a nerd a little
She
bit
knows
more.
it.
That would have
been good. You're right. I agree.
And when she realizes that she's like singing, like, oh, no,
Right.
turn it off. This can't happen. I can't show my true feelings. Billy emerges from the wreck just in time to see Max 11 and Mike try to leave the mall. As soon as he sees them, the Mind Flayer realizes that is where 11 is and calls off the pursuit of the station wagon.
And I ate my words from last time we recorded. There's actually apparently a really practical use for Billy still being in human form.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, he does a lot of shit that the Mind Flayer couldn't do.
But just the one? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it might have helped to leave 10 little foot soldiers,
Right,
really,
yeah.
but yeah. But if you're going to only pick one, it definitely makes sense for it to be Billy.
Yeah, he's got a kick-ass car.
And a white beater, am I right?
Right. That sweet-ass mullet. I mean, that little kid isn't going to have a car. Come on. Miss O'Driscoll don't have a sweet-ass mustache.
She kind of did.
That's, yeah. Hopper and Joyce, now that they have Planck's consent, are able to unlock the safe, get the key, and storm the control room of the gate gun. It's still going crazy. They yell at the Russian
The
scientists to
gate
get
gun,
out.
which is opening the goo gate, which is a lot of G alliteration, and I said it like Bill Cosby. The goo gate.
The Gatling gun.
Ooh.
Nailed it.
Lost
like
another
it.
email.
I have the best puns, guys. All right.
Make puns great again.
That was a good one. The Gatling gun. Like Gatling gun. I'm on board.
Then we cut to this, like, kind of crazy scene that took me by surprise when we first watched it. Max 11 and Mike are kind of, making their way through the back hallways of the mall trying to escape Billy. They come across a locked door and Billy just saunters up to them, no emotion. Max is trying to appeal to his personality,
His
like, your
humanity.
name is Max, you live on this street, and he just fucking backhands her against the wall. And then Mike shows up and he just, what's he do? He grabs Mike by the throat and just smashes his head into the
Slings
the
him into the
wall.
pipes, I think, and then slams her head into the wall backwards
Oh,
and
yeah.
knocks her out. Yeah.
And then just
Brutal violence against the children, yes.
Yeah, and he kidnaps
Which I
11.
liked.
You love you are
fan.
famous.
Big fan. Big fan.
I love it when kids get beat. That Chris does that. I don't.
Yeah. Steve May 13.
No. Hopper and Joyce, now that they have the keys, they go to deactivate the Gatling gun
Ooh, bringing it back.
because you need two
That was
keys.
really clever, man.
Hey, you did that, buddy.
Oh.
Don't sell yourself short. Own it. Own it. You're my. You know what, Andy? You're my chocolate pudding in this episode.
Oh, thanks, man.
But yeah, now that because you need two keys to turn off the Gatling gun, and just when they're about to do it,
Let's do a 3 countdown. Why
Yeah.
not? You know what? We
On
don't want to
3.
end this show too short.
3 1,000, 2 1,000. Oh shit, T2's here.
And I like that Hopper isn't like hit in the back of the head or anything. He's a trained soldier, right? Or at least a veteran cop. He kind of turns at the last second to stop being struck, and it doesn't work out well. But then the cocky 80s villain Russian throws Joyce, throws Hopper, clearly doesn't slightly incapacitate them, and then slowly pulls out his walkie-talkie. Doesn't grab the gun, doesn't finish them off, doesn't stop their plot or pull out a key, just wants to walkie-talkie some. I found them. They're fighting me. I'm defending myself with my other arm. So give me a moment.
I shouldn't tell you this right now, but oh fuck! You hit my face.
Just wanted the radio end. Did you guys ever think maybe we made the vents a little too big? Because I think, hold on. Like,
you kicked me with my little babushkas. Right in my babushkas.
That's
Right.
balls in Russia.
yeah.
Billy now that he has 11, he walks into the Starcourt food court area, and he lays 11 down, seemingly to offer her to the mind flayer when it arrives. And he starts to do that ritual where he kind of leans down and whispers into her ear, like, "It'll be over soon."
Yeah, that's what he always does.
Don't you worry about it, girl. And it looks like the monster is going to finally get its revenge on 11. The little tentacles come out. They're looking all gnarly and scary. And right before they can strike her, Lucas gets to use his M80s or whatever they're called. What do you remember what the fireworks were called?
Oh no, dude.
But
There's a bunch of different fireworks
when you
taped
strap
together.
10 of them together, you got yourself a stick of dynamite.
Except not. It's just really colorful explosions like fireworks.
Everyone in the Griswold family has taken up positions on the upper level of the mall, and they're just hurling these bombs.
Chucking bombs.
You know, it was a different time. The 80s.
Throwing snakes and sparklers.
That would have been awesome. Just one asshole.
Will comes out with a screamer. Well, I thought it would work.
Get the fuck out of here, Will. That's why you're always in trouble during these seasons, and we just look for you the whole time.
But seemingly, Billy feels the monster's pain every time it gets hit with an explosion, which allows 11 to get kind of...
I'm sorry, Steve, please edit a scene, mash cut of that with Joe Dirt talking to the fireworks guy. You mean to tell me you ain't got any whistling ding-dongs?
You're gonna stand there, owning a fireworks stand, and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, cherry bombs, nipsy daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
Husker do's. That's going to be amazing.
But yeah, 11's able to regain some of her faculties since Billy is feeling the pain that the monster is feeling. However, it cuts back and forth between that and the Hopper and Terminator 2 fight. Why did I say Terminator 2 instead of T2? I just made it completely pointless.
Get the fuck out of my house, Steve.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, Andy, take over.
I didn't get to rewatch this episode. That's all for
Steve, come back.
Andy, that's another point from your...
Oh my god, dude, I'm in the negative now. Fuck.
11 tries to escape. Billy will not let her. They're running out of time. Joyce needs... while Hopper and the Terminator guy are fighting, they kind of bump into the... They bump into the Gatling gun. Is it at that point? No. When does the Gatling gun get all fucked up?
When he kills the
when he kills Terminator.
T1.
Okay, yeah. So he throws that guy into a beautiful scene where he just gets shredded.
Oh yeah, dude. That was fucking
Really good
brutal.
practical effects. Or maybe digital. I'm not sure.
They threw a Russian. They killed that guy. That guy's dead.
Didn't you catch that after the stinger at the end in loving memory of T2?
No, in loving memory of Boris.
Just Boris.
We don't know his last name.
I'm invincible.
GoldenEye reference up top. Holy shit, Alan Cummings.
Damn.
But yeah, he gets splattered all over the Gatling gun, which fucks it up. There's this energy that's spiraling around, and it has seemingly separated Hopper away from the control room. So he's not in a good spot. He looks at Joyce and kind of...
No, he looks longingly, quick, decisively at the gate, and then back at Joyce.
That's true. He realizes there's the gate behind me and this swirling energy of death in front of me. What to do?
If Will could survive back there for 3 weeks, then I should be able to go for 6 months. What did Will eat? It's always bothered me. I'm sorry. This is years later. I should have said something by now. What the fuck? What did he drink?
I don't know. How long was he...
Are there resources in the Upside Down?
I think he was in there for a week.
At the end of this season, I was like, holy shit, that was only... This whole season took place over the course of 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It was super fast. And so I don't know. I guess they were looking for Will for a really long time in season 1, but...
He was there for at least a week.
Okay.
Because I think they mentioned something. I think there was one line of dialogue where they're like, he can't survive much longer out there. I don't know.
No, for sure. And then, Barb was missing, quote unquote, for multiple days.
Barb.
Oh,
Oh my
He found
god.
Barb in the swimming pool and he's like, might as well.
Jesus.
She's looking pretty good.
I'm not so much worried about the food as the water.
Yeah, because you can only survive, what, like 3 days without water?
Spoiler alert, I'm really only asking this because I'm worried about Hop.
Max and Mike wake up from their concussed brains, and they join the Starcourt Mall just in time to find 11 reach up and grab Billy's face and start to tell him
about
7
an
feet,
obscure moment on the beach.
7 feet. That was the
That
line.
was the instigator, and he's like, "Oh my God, 7 feet."
That was the Martha Wayne.
That's what I was thinking when I watched it. I took a note about it. Why does Martha get so much shit? And this works, and it
7 feet.
legitimately does. I mean, it works for me. But why does the Martha thing get so much shit? It's the same thing.
Well, I think it's because they actually to make the effort to. They have like a whole scene of her being sucked into his memories about that moment in time. So when she starts to describe it, it makes sense. It's not just like, I have a mom too. At least that's my personal take.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
11 starts, going into vivid detail about Billy's memory, which seemingly kind of, allows him to regain control of his body. There's a real moment where he looks really, really sad.
Yeah, like he starts to come to because of 7 feet, bro.
7 feet.
He's like, actually, I'm 5'11", but that's super close. Super close.
He gets snotty nose, starts crying. You can actually see the varicose veins recede a little bit to where it loses enough control over him to make a last Billy stand. Almost unnecessarily,
Yeah, he gets up and he actually stops the tentacles from getting to 11. He does this really awesome thing where he like grabs the one with both hands and he's like, I'm really strong holding this tentacle back. But then like 6 other ones like stab him from the side.
They did a really good job because I cared deeply for Billy in that moment and was really upset to see him go. And I really had no right to. So they must have done a great job saving the cat.
The 7 feet thing, I'm making fun of it, but it was super humanizing. You know what I mean? What was that 2 episodes ago where we got to see how troubled his childhood actually was. Also, I didn't bring this up in that episode, but I should have. The mysterious introduction of Max, just like, hey, Billy, this is your sister now. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Dating period?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, Max's mom.
I found this lady at the grocery store. She's got a daughter.
We're moving to Indiana.
but yeah, no, it was really effective humanization of a dude that was pretty fucking like irredeemable that last season. Like,
trying to run over kids.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, he was gonna fucking mow down those kids with his car.
Yeah,
in like the first episode or whatever, and that's like bar none piece of shit person. Now I'm like, oh, that's really sad. He died.
Billy. I think that goes so much to Daycare's performance.
Daycare.
Also, I got to give it to my girl Millie because she's just looking at him and she's like, she was so pretty. You know what I mean? Like that. And you just see, I felt a little boy's love for his mother. Do you know what I mean? And how tortured he must have been. He always hated his dad. And then his mom left. And that all came from, for me, Millie. I mean, Dacre did a phenomenal job. But
that's a great point because you have to imagine Billy doesn't talk about that. That's like the most, and obviously that's the most, happiest he's ever been. It's a very cherished memory because that's the one that was.
She says that. You look so happy, And
the fact that 11, recounts that memory so vividly, but so earnestly, and like, I understand what this means to you. It was a beautiful moment. I think that goes even more to allow Billy to be like, you know what, I like this person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna save her. She gets me. So he dies.
Did it bother anyone else that like, so he catches the first tentacle and then he gets stabbed with like 4 or 5 more. And then it's when the last one hits him in the heart, then Max is like, Billy, no! It's like, he wasn't gonna make it. Like,
yeah, his whole torso
that was icing
gone
on the cake.
I was surprised that he was still technically living after that shot to the heart.
Right.
You're too late. You made love a bad name.
Cut back to Joyce and Hopper having that moment. Joyce, Led Zeppelin. Andy, those points are just sky falling now.
Skyfall. Sorry.
Man, I love Celine
Adele.
Dion. But Joyce is forced to turn the keys all by herself. Cut to black. But then it comes back. It comes back, and you see the Gatling gun blow up. It dusts all the Russians. Surprisingly, we don't see any Hopper. Very interesting. And in that moment, the Mind Flayer / Thessal Hydra, now that the gate is closed, seemingly has no connection to its monster in the Starcourt Mall. The monster just falls over and dies. The
He
connection
didn't
is
just fall
severed.
and die. He like slams around for a while and then falls over, which I at the time was like,
Severed connection to this plane of existence.
70 feet.
That's a shirt.
Yeah, I was just surprised he didn't slump, you know. But I mean, it was more effective visually, I guess. But
It's kind of weird that he didn't melt. Like all the goo just like the gore just becomes a puddle.
Definitely expected that.
Yeah,
that's a fair point.
he held its form.
Ew, all the dead bodies congealed.
Billy, like we mentioned before, he's not quite dead yet. He is able to get out a quick apology to Max before he dies. And Murray and Joyce are able to make their escape out of the Russian, or attempt to make their escape out of the Russian base.
But Paul Reiser storms in and guns him down.
Does he, though? So, yeah, Dustin and Eric are on the hill. They see all the helicopters kind of swarm in. Dr. Owens, Paul Reiser's character, is in charge of all the American forces that storm the court. And there's this weird thing where right before Murray and Joyce escape, you see the Russians like, what's going on? Or whatever they say. And then we see the helicopters come in. But then as the American forces are making their way through the
kinda get
base,
away.
there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So I wonder what happened to all the Russians.
They went back to Russia to that prison and left two of them to guard it and went home.
As you do. And Paul Reiser looks at the now closed gate menacingly. He knows that shit has done happened.
And that look on his face. He's like, God damn that gate.
Because he had that kind of...
Looks so vaginal.
He had that... He did. It did.
That's what Paul Reiser's thinking. That's not what I think. I'm
He's
just saying
like-
I read it all over his face.
He's like,
Leave me alone, boys.
smoke if you got him. But he had that moment in season 2 where he's like, can you imagine if the communists had this power? If they had access to the Upside Down? He was very concerned about that.
Oh, yeah.
And his worst fears have been realized.
He's like, God damn it.
Knew it.
First the vents. Did you see these vents?
We should do these. These are huge. Think of the size of the person you can fit through them. Look at this. Look. I just have to crouch. I can fit comfortably in here. Why are we doing this?
Did you see Bruce Willis in one of these fucking things?
I've been trying to come up with a way to do a Die Hard reference, and I was like, the Russians are going to recreate Die Hard. I was like, no, he was German, wasn't he?
Hey, we'll go to Hawkins, Indiana. We'll have a good time.
Is that your Bruce Willis?
It is. He always kind of whispers. Joyce exit the mall. Everyone's kind of being attended to by medical staff. She looks around for Will. They are reunited. She hugs her boy tightly. She does not hug Jonathan because, we don't like
fuck
Jonathan
him.
as much.
He looks 37.
You got arrested for cocaine possession.
That's true, yeah. But she's hugging Will, and as she's hugging him, she sees 11 looking for Hop.
And I hated that she didn't let Will go and do anything or say anything. She just like this knowing look, and that's emotive, but you're not going to console the child at all?
She's holding her son. He's like, yeah, he died.
You don't have a parent. I'm just going to... My kid's got one.
You're mine now. I don't know. I liked it. I
Yeah?
liked that
Really?
she was like almost bawling her eyes out
Why
into
didn't she
Will's
say,
shoulder.
like, come here?
Well, she might have.
I'm sad, too. I was banging
She
her.
probably was like, she probably saw 11, was heartbroken, was crying. She's holding her own kid because she knows, like, oh man, if my boy lost me, that could have been me. And
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure
for
she's
sure.
like, I'm sure she's like, okay, Will, I got to talk to her.
And I'm glad we didn't get a conversation about it because I was too sad in that moment to have Joyce pronounce his name that way.
Yeah. And Hop's dead.
You're looking for Hop, aren't you?
And then you would have had 11 like
What?
gone. Hop gone.
Friends don't die.
Oh, shit.
Nope, he died. You little shit. Cut to 3 months later, boys. Time has passed. It's
Everybody's
been 3 months.
strangely well adjusted, I've noticed, in 3 months.
Shit.
Hey, that's a whole summer. Your whole life can change in the
It's
summer.
true. I mean, Max is super happy now.
Well, before we see what everyone's been up to, we get a really nice newsreel footage from the cutting edge.
Oh, yeah.
I love that because it's like Hawkins, Indiana, a great place to raise your kids, or is it? Some blame Satanism. It's like super
D&D
intense.
books.
Mysterious deaths.
We get to see
cover up.
Yeah, government cover-ups, mysterious deaths. They show Bob Newby and Barb. They talk about a disgraced mayor. I don't know what Mayor Klein's been charged with officially, but he's in trouble, obviously. And it brings up that Hopper died heroically in the fire at the mall, which one makes you wonder, what's the policeman doing at the fire? In the mall.
So more cover-ups. The cover-ups haven't stopped here, cutting edge.
Nope. Chemical leaks. Tune in at 8 o'clock on Sundays.
With the R.L. Stein lettering on chemical leaks.
And I loved all the awful star wipe transitions that it kept using. It was beautiful. I was really hoping they would have one interview of some random person something happened at the mall.
The guy from the fucking fake Arby's commercial thing or news thing, that would have been awesome. Just cut to him. Notice me, senpai.
I love the welcome to Hawkins sign that someone spray painted. Welcome to hell.
Oh yeah.
Very dramatic. But after we see that, we find out that Robin and Steve, they're job hunting again. Scoops Ahoy burned down in the mall. So they go to a family video.
I'm sorry. I keep thinking, Hawkins is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. The family video, which apparently is attached to the arcade.
Keith got fired from the arcade, or is it attached, you're saying?
You can see that it's literally attached. So I wonder if Keith
He's a modern day Dante and Randall, dude.
Yeah.
Hopping back and
Oh my
forth.
God.
What creepier?
Is that an Easter egg in and of itself?
Oh, I think so.
No.
You sounded so hop about that, bro.
But yeah, they go to apply at the family video with Keith, the guy we saw from season 2 in the arcade. The interview process is pretty simple.
Did you notice that he looked like he had a bastardized attempt to trying to have Steve's hair?
That's interesting.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Super looked like that. Like he tried and then just
He's throwing so much stank at Steve, but really he wants to be Steve.
he didn't know the trick about damp, not wet, and 4 sprays of Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett.
Does not know that trick.
Only Dustin knows, and that kid wears a hat all day.
He uses cheesy poof crust.
Ew. He was going to town on some cheesy poofs.
Season 2 he was.
Is he the manager? He does not strike me as manager material.
No, he's definitely gonna...
He strikes me as the employee who wants to be manager and never will be.
I don't think they have the sexual harassment
That's what I was gonna
quizzes in the 80s, because he would have been donezo. I failed it 4 times.
It is a weird interview process. You, favorite 3 movies? Tell me now.
Well, I've actually applied to... so we all worked at movie theaters at one time, but I actually did apply to a family video. And they did ask me my favorite movies, and due to my felonious background, I was not hired.
But that wasn't the only question they asked.
No. There were also references. It was written. It was an application process.
They didn't have that one loaded in the chamber when you said, I would like job here, please.
No.
What's your favorite 3 movies?
And if I said Fast Times, I would assume they would have asked me to leave. But it was a different time.
But he
2013.
initially rebukes Steve's attempt. He tells Robin she starts on Monday, but Robin, she's gotta help her boy out.
Sticking out for her boy.
So she tells Keith hey, that's Steve the Hair Harrington. You know what comes in here? Ladies for that guy, and there's so many of them, and he needs your help, Keith, to manage all these ladies.
And she's effective when she says that. I'm like, hire him.
We had to ship in fucking ice cream from Detroit. Goddamn Detroit, Keith. I love the way she said that, dude.
It's very well done.
She's a total BF.
Very big fan of Robin. So they both get hired.
We cut to the buyers as they're moving out. I guess they're actually moving. They're leaving Hawkins, and the whole gang is there to help them to pack. And
Which is so unrealistic. Nobody fucking shows up when it's time to help move. Not much less everyone.
That's true. But maybe the 80s is a different time.
Different time. There's nothing else to do. What, are you
Yeah,
gonna play Atari?
I like how the children came to help Joyce move her house. Like Karen wasn't there.
Yeah.
Fucking Ted's a piece of shit. He ain't gonna be there.
Definitely not.
Donald, what's
Hop
he doing?
wasn't there. What the fuck?
Bob's dead.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Joyce's only friends are children now.
Yeah, she's the creepy lady.
But
It's actually the precursor. Never mind. Go ahead.
Dustin's getting some shit from Lucas and Max about the Neverending Story song.
Awesome. They actually used that twice in the same episode. It worked both times.
Yeah. And it's further evidence that Lucas and Max are just perfect for one another.
Yeah.
They were harmonizing everything, man.
Beautiful voices.
Bad.
Yeah. We get to see Jaybird and Nancy, looking in his empty room, 17 years of my life packed up in a day. And they try to, maybe you don't have to go, that whole thing where like teenage love, getting separated too soon. Are they going to last? Can they do long distance relationships? I don't know. Watch season 4 to find out. What'd you guys think about that?
I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Every little bit of it.
It was very sad. Very, very sad.
That's one of my, spoiler, but it destroyed me. Especially the first time through.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like, oh, wow, that's sad, but like blubbering tears.
No. Because it is a really, like when you move, especially when you're that young, I totally
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
felt that like
I lived
17
in the
years of my
same
life.
apartment for 14 years. The same little apartment, so from, almost 12 years. So from 3 to 15, so absolutely. In fact, every time I drive by that apartment complex, and he's still in the same area. So when I'm going up past his house or whatever, I'm just like, oh, I learned to swim there. And, oh, shit. I remember that hole. And then I hid from my dad there and he got super mad. I had my toy gun. It's just like infinite amount of memories. And I don't think Charlie Heaton played it particularly well, but it had enough of my own resonance. Like you're watching it today, he just walks so awkwardly into the room and it's kind of overt. I don't know. I just was thinking at that moment, they didn't utilize Charlie Heaton very much at all this season. Jaybird was very much sideshowed. But what he did have, he didn't do particularly well, in my opinion. I don't know. And that's more for the recap discussions. But
I did like that scene just because, like you mentioned, they haven't given Jaybird a lot to do, but that scene kind of hammered home like, man, that room, his room was such a big set piece in the first season.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's that shot where he's, like you said, awkwardly kind of walking in. You can almost picture like, oh, that's where the Living Dead photo was, and that's where his records were. And it just really kind of like, man, this show, and that's why I like love this ending, this whole ending sequence. It's like, it's really this scene more than anything is taking Stranger Things into completely new territory.
Uncharted. It would have been a great end of the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like a sitcom after 8 seasons would end this way. In fact, it did. Friends ended exactly this way with the empty apartments. Yeah. So, but nay, it's not over.
This is jumping forward, but I think this is where we'll talk about something more important. But literally the ending shot is Joyce looking at the empty house, and we all know like what a big deal like Joyce alone in that house was that first season in that main living room.
I almost would have liked to have seen a pan to the wall where she had the Christmas lights up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the hole still in the wall, the little boards.
Now, Bob fixed those.
Oh, that's right, he did. Bob's such a good guy. Gone too soon. But after Jonathan and Nancy have their little moment, we see Eleven is trying to grab a teddy bear from out of the closet. She tries to use her powers. She still does not have them.
And we all as children tried to move teddy bears with our minds. So we get that. A lot of resonance there for me as well.
Absolutely. Fortunately for her, Mike comes in and says they'll come back, and he's tall and lanky enough to get up there and grab that teddy bear for her. There's like a really awkward moment between the two of them, and she goes to leave, but then she stops herself and turns around and is like, hey, remember that day when we were at the cabin and you were talking about your feelings? And Mike's like, oh, I don't know. But she reveals that she heard him the whole time say that he loved her, and she tells him that she loves him too and gives him a little smooch and walks away.
And then the cute smile when she walks away. It was so adorable.
She felt so good about herself.
I loved her. I love Millie Bobby Brown in that scene. I hated Finn Wolfhard in that scene. Like, I get that the writing kind of forces him to do the awkward, like, I don't know what you mean, but that shit's annoying. I hope they don't pigeonhole him into doing that next season. But even after they kiss and she walks away and she has that really cute smile, Finn's just sitting there like,
He's such an idiot.
It's such an idiot.
it's so weird because season 1 we're like, get them together, and then he was a miserable fuck all season 2, and they got together and we're like, yay, and then this season we're like, fuck Mike.
Wolf hard.
That's my name.
That's, what he just, that's all he says. How many times are you going to fucking drop that, Andy? Jesus goddamn Christ, you're negative 4 points right now.
So he was terrible in that scene. It was even worse in the scene that we skipped over, which was fucking Will putting the D&D board into the donation box. He's like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Will's like, well, I'll just come play with yours. He's like, what if you want to join another party? It's like, oh, I could never do that. And they just have the weirdest fucking look at each other. Like, Will's like, I guess. It's a podcast. It doesn't translate very well. But they give each other.
And he just bugged his eyes out and made a weird, like, derpy smile.
It's a good description.
It was just super, super uncomfortable scene. An unnecessary throwback to Will wanting to play the game earlier in the season.
I didn't hate that scene, again, because I like Noah Schnapp. And I thought I liked that little bow on his story. I really wish Noah Schnapp had more to do this season, because like last season was like Noah's season. He was like the linchpin of that whole thing, and this season he's just like, I got a tingle.
Everyone can see the giant monster, but also I have a warning.
You know, I mean, the last few times it happened, it's like, yeah, motherfucker, there's a giant skyscraper-sized monster right above us.
Gotta scratch my neck.
He's near. They're in the middle of the ballast store car. He's like, guys, it's happening right.
You guys see this shit? I gotta backtrack. I'm so sorry. I wrote a note because I explicitly wanted to talk to you guys about this part, because it was the one thing in the episode that I fucking hated, and I want to see if you guys picked up on it. So the scene with Mike and Eleven telling him that she loves him. That's the most eloquent Eleven's ever been. Like, she was so well spoken, and in that scene, she's like forming full sentences. She's pronouncing everything correctly. And then the very next scene, Joyce has a note, and she's like, "What's that? Can I read?" Like, what? Stop making her a caveman.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then when she's done reading, go time, is it?
yeah, she does. Yeah, go time. Out in a minute. Did you guys feel the same way about that? Is it just me?
That time I honestly didn't notice it, but yeah, I mean, it's a problem that they have. They need to just let that go. I mean, the whole friends don't lie. I mean, it was so charming, but it's done. You know, it's been years.
This eventually leads us to what I think is probably the biggest moment of Stranger Things, and that is Hop's note. Joyce finds the note that she helped him write in the beginning of the season to 11 about having that heart-to-heart with her and Mike. And before she can really read it, 11 comes in and she's like, hey, what is that? And she gives her the note, and 11 gets to read the note that Hop wrote to her. And we quickly find out that Hop deviated from the original kind of script that Joyce laid out to him.
What a wonderful surprise that was.
Yeah. And really, it became this beautiful written note about being in a cave of feelings, but then 11 came into his life, and he, loved their time together, and he was starting to feel like they're becoming distant, but he realized, hey, that's a part of growing up. Go ahead and continue to grow, make mistakes, and when life gets hard, because it will, just know, lovey-dovey stuff.
Something like that.
And while this is going on, there's great editing kind of going to certain characters when there's lines that apply. There's the part where he's like, sometimes life is great, and it cuts to Erica getting the D&D set from Dustin and Lucas. And sometimes life can be hard, and it cuts to Max mourning Billy. It's just a really great way to edit, because they kind of show you the whole buyers packing up the truck, saying their goodbye and leaving, and then when the note ends, it goes back to them doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But it works so well.
Yeah.
The
I was
pacing's
thinking
great.
about that too, the way that they cut it all together and the timeline of, because you don't know what was this after the kiss, was this before, as far as the different goodbyes. And obviously when she's done reading, she says, is it time to leave when Joyce comes in? But we've already seen the aftermath of her taking her moment and coming outside and saying goodbye. So it's very interesting. That destroyed me. I wept like a baby. It is the linchpin emotionally of the entire show. Of that episode, rather.
And then the buyers move, and it's really sad. Everyone's crying. Will's crying like a baby.
Why'd you say it like that? Like a little bitch.
My little bitch. He's been in the Upside Down. He should be hard.
That's true.
They're moving next door to Steve.
They just go down the street after that. I think you said everything that needs to be said. I think it's time to move to the Eggos and pudding. What do you guys think?
Well, we have one more scene.
You want to talk about the sting?
The sting.
Stinger stingy?
The sting thing.
So we knew it. On Netflix, you know that if it doesn't shrink the credits up to the top left corner and show you some stupid fucking show that's completely different to watch, must be more, right? So we've got some upside downy looking snowflakes and then actual snowflakes.
Ooh.
And then we're in the motherland.
Kamchatka, Russia.
At a prison guarded by Boris and Gisnetskin.
There's just these two dudes.
Two of the hardest motherfuckers that ever walked through Siberia.
What was the second guy's name?
Gisnetskin.
Tisnetskin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that guy.
He's his cousin. They're cousins. They both, anyway.
They're both in love with the same guy.
It's the whole backstory. So then, two things of note.
Tisnetskin is hard as nails. If only he knew how to swim.
So two things of note happen. They say, not the American, and they grab the poor Russian bastard, who's seemingly in the same uniform. I guess he's betrayed them. There is a bit of a backstory that the duffers worked in there, because he goes, I didn't tell them anything, or whatever, as they're locking him in the cage.
The guy in the other cell they grabbed.
Yeah.
I loved her.
She doesn't even love you.
I would have been good to her. I don't know why he's Italian now. So there's a fucking Demogorgon in there. It comes out and eats the motherfucker. There's a cage that doesn't look like it could hold a Demogorgon. Throwback to Erica being astute, noticing a Demogorgon-sized cage, strictly from being told they exist a half an hour before. Turns out that's exactly what was going on. They found at least one and carted it back to Russia, King Kong style, but this time successfully.
Did you guys get the impression that specific Demogorgon was, like, we watched it in the final metamorphosis of it going from Demodog to Demogorgon? Because when it stands up, its shoulders are going like.
I noticed that, but I thought
around.
they were just like scary twitchy. I don't know. I took it like they can always go to Demodog.
Oh, for sure.
Gate status, GAIT. But I don't know. Sure. Doesn't. Yeah, sure.
That's Stranger Things, season 3.
Sure.
And there it ends. And there it ends.
Keep the coverage door open 3 inches.
Ooh. Our door is always going to be open 3 inches. That's what Steve's saying. Mm-hmm. He measures it with his penis. Beat me to it.
Damn.
What, I was going to say a ruler. That's 3 inches tall.
That brings us to our second segment, the Easter Eggos segment, wherein we make a bunch of shit up that seems to be references to the 80s, hidden there by the duffers, and we try to find them. But this one I'm stretching quite a few, but I have a good many. Andy, start us off with some Eggos if you got any. Don't say the Gap or you're fucking fired.
So when Max and Lucas are making fun of Dustin at the end of it, and they're singing the Never-Ending Story, which is another Eggo, obviously. Theme song back to him. He says, "You guys are funny. You should be on Carson." He's referencing Johnny Carson.
Is that the Tonight Show?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, it was I don't know the Late Show, but I think it's the Night Show. Yeah, before motherfucking David Letterman was Johnny Carson.
Word.
I only got a few that are stretched and aren't real. Scarface, when Hop shoots all the Russians. Were you nodding in agreement?
Actually, no, I wasn't.
No,
I thought you were going to say something different because there's another Scarface. Yeah,
really?
that I have, yeah.
Well, I just thought because he had like a Miami shirt on and he's like, say hello to my little friend. Even he doesn't say that, but he does that.
Yeah.
And then he gets it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. What was your Scarface reference?
It's one of the movie posters outside the family video.
Oh, holy shit.
Nice.
I found a real one.
That was the mountain of cocaine.
You know. Also, Christine, because I like to throw the obscure Stephen King
There's always a Christine
adopted
reference.
film, but you know, when Billy's in his car, when they first come out and the starter cord or whatever the fuck is yanked out, it just gave me more Christine vibes. Go ahead, Steve.
The scene when they're in the gap and the tentacle monsters are kind of like maneuvering around searching for him. It's very reminiscent of the raptor scene in Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm. I wrote that down too.
Yes. I love that.
There's even a mirrored thing that they use. Just
yeah,
like
when they have their backs to the counter and the mouth is coming out.
Yeah. Flight of the Navigator was a real stretch.
Ooh, I don't even know what that is.
Really?
No.
Well, isn't that the movie with the little fucking Ethan Hawke, where they build the thing and then they go up to the singing aliens and the spaceship at the end?
I've never seen it. If it is,
well, anyway, I thought that there was a reference to that in there. Carry on.
They put his daughter in it.
Exactly. Like fucking exactly, Andy. Also, another one I made up completely when Hop is almost getting chopped when T1's holding his face down by the machine. It just reminded me, and it's been done 1,000 times, like that tension moment, right? But Indiana Jones, maybe, like I could just see a train and Harrison Ford's stupid head. I don't know. Stupid face. Like I said, I'm making that one up. But I have 3 real ones, but go on, Steve. You're going to take them. Jackie Wilson.
What was that? Go with it. What is it?
I couldn't hold it in.
What is it?
Jackie Wilson.
What is that?
The song Higher and Higher, higher. Your love. Which that song has probably been used almost as much as any song in film ever. It's probably super cheap to use that song because it's so old, but that was probably the best use ever. It was very Tarantino because it's right after Hop mows him down with his gun, and then just that song kicks in.
Higher and higher.
Yeah, loved it.
Andy?
So this one is sort of an Easter egg.
Jackie Wilson.
It's more, it's more of like a cultural finger on the pulse kind of ego. During the end, when the TV special comes on and they're talking about the government cover-ups and the people that have gone missing, they say, "Is it Satanism?" And they show a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and that was an absolute like. The way people portrayed board games in that time period was like that it's evil, that it's like the 80s equivalent of what's happening today with all the mass shootings that are going on, and people are like,
video games.
It's the violent video games.
And before that, with Harry Potter and
yeah, Satanic Panic.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch.
Absolutely. I already spoke about briefly the alien parasite coming out of Eleven's leg. They reminded me of a xenomorph. We learned that 11 likes to watch Miami Vice. That's. I feel like there's a Miami Vice reference in almost every episode, mostly because of Hopper's outfit. Chris, do you have any more?
I do. Griswold, the Griswold family, which is from National Lampoon's Family Vacation, or any of its sequels. It was a good reference because they actually drive that same station wagon, which is why they call them the Griswold Group, which is great. And also Family Video itself, which I didn't know was a franchise, I'll be honest, because there's one on Dixie Highway. That's the one I applied to, and it's the only movie rental place still in business within hundreds of miles, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was like a little family-owned place, hence Family Video. But nay, it's apparently a big enough franchise to be in fucking Stranger Things.
I remember like back in 2011, a buddy of mine applied to be a manager there, and he got the job, and my only thought the whole time was like, dude, what are you doing? That place is gonna be out of business in like a day. But it's still trucking.
Yeah,
it's still going.
Now he's a millionaire.
now he owns Family Video.
Yeah.
Nice. So
I'm fresh out of Eggos.
Steve, when he's asked his top 3 favorite movies, doesn't name it, but he implies that one of his top 3 movies is Return of the Jedi.
And Ewoks, the little teddy bears.
Yeah, the little teddy bears. The one with the little teddy bears, duh. Although the Keith, he says, which Star Wars, A New Hope? Had it been named A New Hope at that point?
It had been.
I thought it was just Star Wars.
Originally, it was
when Empire came out.
When Empire came, yeah,
gotcha.
And what's funny is it's such a nod, like almost too on the nose, but it's enjoyable that Steve would pick Return of the Jedi, which obviously would piss most. And that's actually
that's my
Andy's
favorite of the originals.
But
is that really?
Yeah, it really is.
Steve's
Weird.
disgusted.
I'm not
And you
disgusted.
lost your last email, Andy.
Andy, I love
I think
hearing
that's a
people's
plus one.
I love seeing how people rank Star Wars because I have my ranking and I'm fascinated by other people's rankings. The only people I would hate is if they put like Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones as their favorite Star Wars of all time. I would, ask someone to euthanize them.
Is Revenge of the Sith forgivable as a favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Revenge of the Sith is actually like my third or fourth.
What if they
Revenge of the
chose
Sith.
Solo, a Star Wars story?
I mean, that's fine.
No, it's not. It's not
It's
fine.
fine. I mean, I wouldn't agree with it, but I'm not going to be like, fuck you, you
Don't be
idiot.
so accepting, Steve. Also, in that email, send in your favorite Star Wars film.
You got a lot of stuff to write.
You know
on
what
this.
I should have done is send in an artwork or idea or drawing for us to use because we're actually going to change our artwork
Oh,
to
holy
not
shit,
be
that
so
would have been a great idea.
not be so Stranger Thingsy. But that'd have been a lot of work for $50, and I don't feel like it would have been as popular as just writing in. So yeah, don't forget to email streamingthingspod@gmail.com. That's our little midway point after an hour and a half reminder.
You can win 50 bones on
50
Amazon.
freaking bones Amazon gift card. Is that the end of our Ego segment? Do you got some more, Steve? You look like you're raring to go.
I have more.
Jackie Wilson.
Phoebe Cates.
Your Love by Howard Huntsberry is the song that plays in the beginning. Obviously, the Never Ending Story song is the low-hanging fruit. Whoa. Someone's trying to break into a car right now.
Carry on. None of our business.
None of business, yep. At the family video, you can see posters for Firestarter, which is a very 11-like thing.
The Prodigy song?
16 Candles is another poster. Scarface that we mentioned before. Steve runs into a Fast Times at Ridgemont High standee with Phoebe Cates. There's also a Breakfast Club poster in the front of the family video, which is that an anachronism? Wasn't Breakfast Club didn't that come out after this year that took place?
1985? Surely they're surely not. They wouldn't be that amateurish. Carry on while I Google it.
The book that Susie is reading is A Wizard of Earthsea, which
I recall that book.
which apparently is very fantasy.
Breakfast Club came out in 1985. Fuck you, Steve. Doubt the
Nailed
Duffers
it.
ever again.
Doesn't this? I thought this took place in 84.
No, 85. It's the whole Back to the Future thing. 84 was season 2.
Wait, but what month did it come out?
Tell me the month.
After it better be a summer blockbuster or they're fucking done.
Right?
So this next one, full
Fuck name
disclosure.
John Hughes.
Full disclosure, I was doing research for the final episode, and I was looking up Eggos because we usually do
cheated?
we did an Eggos we missed, so I was cataloging Eggos we missed, and I was gonna save this one for that episode, but I thought it was so awesome that I just wanted to share it with you guys because I fucking loved it. Lucas's T-shirt that he's wearing is like almost exactly the same as the T-shirt that
The Japanese one?
yeah.
Is it a Karate Kid?
It's the
I fucking caught it!
It's a Karate Kid shirt. And this is it's a really good character Easter egg too, because if you remember in episode,
He had the headband.
well, in episode 2, Max says that her celebrity crush is Ralph, what's his name? Macchio, the guy,
Yeah.
the kid who plays Karate Kid.
Oh, shit. That's really good.
Yeah, and I thought that was such a fucking genius Easter egg. Like Luke is like, listen, I'm gonna wear the shirt that my girl likes.
Damn.
And then my last Eggo, and maybe this will springboard into a topic that I'm surprised we haven't talked about yet. The last Easter egg I have is Peter Gabriel's Heroes
Oh, yeah.
playing at the end during Hopper's note.
That would be more a recap discussion, though, right?
Oh, Peter Gabes.
Like,
The Peter Gabriel, where we bring back Peter Gabriel, would be like a season 4
we didn't-
predictions discussion. Right?
oh, okay.
You know?
All right.
Yeah. See why I wanted to tie it in,
you
but
go.
you were right though. It's already been an hour and a half, so that was a good call.
We'll
on
put a
Steve's
pin in
part.
it. Guys, Peter Gabriel Heroes. Listen to it and realize we're going to talk about it next episode.
Pin in the Gabes.
So
That
that's all
brings us
Megos.
to our last segment, the chocolate pudding, where we enumerate our top 3 favorite episodes. Favorite moments of this episode. I almost threw the microphone.
It looked like you were going to throw it at Andy.
Andy's fault.
You burned a hole in Andy's face like it was his fault.
Anyway, my number 3. Oh, I'm going to start with myself. Whoa. Favorite moment is Billy's redemption, where he grabs the tentacle and then gets stabbed a bunch of times. And even with the whole Martha Wayne lead up, I love that moment. I think Dacre does an insanely good job, and his angry yell is like black bloody teeth. Everything he does is just wonderful. I buy every second of it. Super heartfelt. Very sad to see that character go. That's my number 3. Steve, what's your number 3?
That's also my number 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I would even add in the part where the 7 feet thing, where you kind of see Daycare's face kind of. Yeah, I think he has another great single tear in that moment
And a
as well.
snotty nose. It almost drops on Millie's face, and I'm like terrified the whole time.
That's tension building right there.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Cut! Cut! Cut!
Cut. Look away! Look
I'm
away!
gonna be disgusted.
So yeah,
That's my number 3.
It's gonna get me.
Andy, what's your number 3?
That's also my number 3.
Whoa!
All the reasons you guys already said.
Ooh, are we going to be unanimous this
I
episode?
think we are.
There's no way that we don't have the same number 1, probably.
Right.
Number 2, 11 reading Hop's letter. That's my number 2.
Oh, we're off.
Okay, that was your number 1.
We're off.
I can't. After I made that lack of hyperbole speech earlier, I couldn't do that.
That's true.
So yeah, this is my number 2 moment for obvious reasons. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is going to be a huge star forever and ever. She's the next fucking Julia Roberts. You know what I mean? No, bad reference.
Weird.
It was
Julia Roberts.
She was
She's
Oscar
gonna be the next
she's
Pretty Woman, bro.
Oscar winning. I couldn't think of the.
Is she?
Who's the other the one that's won the most Oscars of all time?
Kate Blanchett.
What? Not who I meant at all. The old lady that's in
Meryl Streep.
Yes, she's the next Meryl Streep, and I just went Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts.
I veered hard left.
She's gonna be the next Tara Reid, bro.
Yeah. What's
Anyway.
I feel like Julia Roberts' brother is a brother Eric Roberts.
Oh,
Yes.
he's in so many
I feel like
movies,
he
dude.
will be in Stranger Things for her.
Actually, he probably should be.
Yeah.
If they can't get what's his name, the fat guy that does martial arts instructions for cops, Steven Seagal.
That was such a weird way to describe Steven Seagal.
That's what he
He could have
does.
been like guy with ponytail who snaps necks. No, weird chubby guy. Helps cops.
Anyway, Steve, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the never-ending story. I just love that. You know, we talked about it before. I think you'll dive into this a little bit more when you get to your number 1, Chris, but it was such a loving, awesome scene that really brought me back to my childhood, and I can't thank the Duffers enough for including that little bit of 80s nostalgia. Andy.
Hell yeah. My number 2 is Hop's sacrifice. The chaos going on around him and the extreme, wonderful facial acting between him and Winona Ryder, and just the implications of it. Because I had thought leading into up until the point where she asked him on a date, which was the nail in the coffin for him, I thought that she was going to die down underground. When she's hugging Will before everything. She's like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And then
there's that
he's
argument
like,
about her
"Let go, Mom."
coming along at all as well.
Yeah. I thought that she was going to make the sacrifice, but that was a definite subversion of expectation for me. And it was just a wonderful moment. Honorable mention, Hop's letter is really good, but at the same time, like that didn't mean as much to me as the act itself, and the way that they portrayed it was fantastic.
Excellent. My number
Hear,
1,
hear.
Obviously, the singing of Neverending Story, the first rendition. Wonderful break of tension. I spoke at length
First
about
rendition.
Max and Lucas was a good runner-up, as Andy said, but I'm talking about Dustin and Susie. Just the fact that Susie's real, the reaction, mostly from Hopper, because I can just distinctly remember how hard I laughed when it cut to him and his face back in that room waiting on the code. Because there's this wonderful suspension of time, and you're wrapped in the fact that Susie is actually real, and then they should make sure to remind you of what's actually occurring while you're delving down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, you can see the mind flayer like stomping in the background, chasing Stephen Robbins.
It's so fucking good. Forever, we'll love that moment. That's my number 1. Steve, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is a little ditty that Hop wrote. Called
Jackie Wilson.
3 Inches Open. No, the Hopper's note at the end. It was just a beautiful moment that propels Stranger Things into a new and interesting direction. It had some of my favorite editing in the series thus far, with what they chose to show while he's having his monologue. the acting is on display from Millie Bobby Brown and like really everyone else in their own like little sequences is just great. And it really, you know, I've seen that scene several times now, and I well up and cry every time. I mean, actually, when we were rewatching that scene right before we started recording, I was really like, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. I want to cry in front of my friends. Don't look at it. I don't want to cry in front of my friends. It's beautiful. And I just can't wait to see where they go from here.
Absolutely. Andy.
It was the cat sitting next to you that was making you tear up, bro.
This goddamn cat.
Steve's allergic.
So my number one is easily the duet. In fact, I was thinking this episode shouldn't have been called Chapter 8, The Battle of Starcourt. It should have been Chapter 8, The Duet. Like that's how great that fucking scene was. I just noticed as Steve was telling his heartfelt thing that I totally ignored. I was looking on my phone, and I decided to look up the actress that plays Susie and look up a young Phoebe Cates. It's pretty fucking dead on, dude. Like, do you remember in
really?
episode 1 where Dustin is saying she's like Phoebe
she looks
Cates
like
but
Phoebe
hotter?
Cates, yeah.
She actually, check this out. Like, it really does put glasses on that picture down there, and that's her.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. But yeah, it's just the timing of it was fucking perfect. Like when everything's coming to a fucking head, just to have it's a fucking never-ending story theme song duet over the radio while fucking everything's going to shit. It was perfect. It was. I'm not positive, but I might agree with Chris that it was the best moment in all of Stranger Things. It's definitely top 3.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely a chocolate pudding of the show.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm so happy to hear you guys say that.
This was a damn good finale. Like, this season ramped up, had a definite upward trajectory, which is hard to do, difficult to do. And I won't even say that it started slow and be insulting, but it definitely had a severe upward trajectory that was crazy good. It's just tough when you don't see the gang together, you know. Think about the catharsis of next season when we get the gang back together after a few slogging episodes without 11 with no powers and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Do you think, no, this is all, damn it, I almost asked questions. That's all going to be next week's questions. Do we have anything else to say about the finale, Chapter 8? The Battle of Starcourt.
What a way to end it.
A bigger battle than fucking Helm's Deep.
Hell yeah.
Deeper than Helms.
Oh.
Slow clapping us out?
Andy's standing up. He's giving a standing ovation.
Andy's gone.
And Andy, he's gone.
He's just freeze framed like the end of Breakfast Club.
Don't you?
Anyway, can you edit that in to the credits?
Will that be our outgoing song?
Yeah. Don't you? Anyway, do it.
Here we go. 3,
do
2,
it, Steve.
1.
Fucking do it. Yeah, it's work for you. It's fine.
Hey.
Don't forget to email streamingthingspod@gmail.com with whatever bullshit I told you to do, and you might win a $50 Amazon gift card.
Essentially, if you just email us, you have a chance to win.
But you got to win. You got to be the best.
Who's your chocolate pudding? That's what we really care about.
Yeah, all that other stuff we said was good too. You can find me on Twitter @CMichaelRudd, Andy
@InkwellVerbal,
InkwellVerbal, and Steve
@SteveMay13.
Don't be, how many people are tweeting Steve May 12? Like, great episode, man.
I feel sorry for that son of a bitch.
14 lagging behind you.
He's like, oh man, what streaming things? What the fuck is that?
Dude, you fucked up. It wasn't Steve May 11.
That's all we've got time for this week. My name is Chris.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this has been Streaming Day.
Streaming Day.
Holy shit. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Turn around. Look at what you see in her face. The mirror of your dreams. Make believe I'm everywhere. Giving in the light. Written on the pages is the answer to a never-ending story. Never-ending story. Reach the whole thing.